Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We are back in the sanctuary this week, but I appreciate everybody who signed in last week for our Zoom Kabbalat Shabbat with Cantor Emily, and she will be back again next week and the weeks after. But we are back here, just me, here in our beautiful sanctuary, and the light hitting the room in this way that is actually fairly unique for this exact time of year. And I miss all of you terribly, but I'm excited to celebrate Shabbat with all of you. And tonight we won't do Yedid Nefesh, we'll do just our usual opening warm-up song to help get us in the right kind of Shabbat mood. Yallai, lai, 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 yallai, lai, 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 yallai, lai, 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 yallai, lai, 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 yallai, lai, 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 ai, lai, 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 lai. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Yallai, lai, 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 yallai, lai, 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 yallai, lai, 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 ai, lai, 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 yallai, lai, 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 ai, lai, 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 lai. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to all of you at home. And if you're following along with our online prayer book or our prayer book, if you have it at home, the pages are now exactly the same, should be. So we are going to begin our service by lighting and blessing our Shabbat candles on page 120. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. So before we begin our Kabbalat Shabbat service, we'll all just take a moment for ourselves, you at home, me here, just to quiet ourselves and reflect a little bit as we prepare to welcome Shabbat. If you feel comfortable, by all means, close your eyes. Open our eyes, let's take a deep breath in and let a deep breath out, and we'll open up our Sidurim, our prayer books online or in the reel, to page 130 as we begin Kabbalat Shabbat together at the very top of the page with Psalm 95. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letzoi shenu,
Nekadma fana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu. Bizmirot naria lo. Lechu ne'anena, lechu ne'anena, lechu ne'anena l'Adonai. Lechu ne'anena, lechu ne'anena, lechu ne'anena l'Adonai.
Turn now to page 131, Psalm 96.
Shiru l'Adonai, shiru shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruchu shemo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato, shiru l'Adonai baruchu shemo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato. Shiru l'Adonai, shiru shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruchu shemo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato. Shiru l'Adonai baruchu shemo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato.
Psalm 97 is on the bottom of page 132, the last paragraph in Hebrew.
Or zaru ala tzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Or zaru ala tzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Or zaru ala tzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Or zaru ala tzadik, uleishrei lev simcha.
Psalm 98 is on page 134, very top of the page.
Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzotrot v'kol shofar. Aharu lifnei hamelech Adonai, Hiram hayamum lo, tevel veyoshveva, neharot imcha uchav yachad, harim yiranenu. Lifnei Adonai kiva, lishbot haaretz, yishbot tevel v'tzedek, ve'amim nemesharim. Yiram hayamum lo, tevel veyoshveva, neharot imcha uchav yachad, harim yiranenu.
Turn now to page 135, the last paragraph in Hebrew in the middle of the page.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'akodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu להקודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו.
Turn down to page 136, very top of the page, Psalm 29.
מזמור לדוד, אבו לאדוני בני אלים, אבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, כל אדוני המים, אל הכבוד ירים, אדוני מים רבים, אדוני מים רבים, כל אדוני בכוח, כל אדוני בהדר, כל אדוני שובר ארזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון, וירקידם כמו עגל, לבנון לסיריון, כמו בן רמים, כמו בן רמים. כל אדוני חוצם למודש, כל אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל אדוני מדבר קדש, כל אדוני יכולל לעלות, ויחשוף יערות ובחלו, כולו בכבוד, כולו מכבוד, כולו מכבוד. אדוני למה בו ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו ושלום.
Be prepared to welcome Shabbat, L'chadodi, page 138, beginning at the very top of the page.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi mekor haberacha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof maase b'machshava tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Mikdash melech ir melucha, Kumitzei mitoch ha'afecha, Rav lach shevet be'emek habacha, Ve'u yachmol alayich chemla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Itna'ari me'afar kumim, Livshi bigdei tifatecha mi, Ahal yad ben yishai metalach mi, Korba el nafshi ge'ala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Itoreri, Kiva orech umiuri, Uri, shir dahaberi, Kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Lo tevoshi velo tikami ma tishtochachi Uma temi bach yechesu aniei ami venivneta iratila Lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Ve'hayu leshimso Shosaich v'rachaku kol Mevalaich yasisalayich Elohaich kimsos chatan Akala lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Yaminu smol tifrotzi ve'et Adonai Ta'aritzi al yadish ben parti venismecha venagila lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom Ateret balagam mesimcha Uvetzolat hochemune Am segula Boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Yai lai 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 Ai la 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 lai 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 Ai la 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 lai 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 Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
Can be seated at home as we turn to page 140 to conclude Kabbalat Shabbat together with the 92nd Psalm. We're in the Hebrew, just where it indents in the middle of the page, beginning with the Hebrew words Tzadik Katama.
Tzadik Katamar Yifrach Kerez Balvanon Yizke Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvun Beseva Deshenim Verananim Yihu Lehagim Ki Yashar Adonai Zuri Velo Avlatabo.
If we're able at home, we rise for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144 and remain standing for the Baruch Hu on the next page.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba Be'amad yivrach yirutei Be'amlik malchutei V'chayechon u'vyomechon U'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'gala Ba'gala U'bizman karir V'yimeru Amen Yesh me'Rabba me'barach Le'alam le'al me'al maya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach V'yitbar v'yitrabam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudsha brichu Leila min kol berchata v'shirata Tushmechata v'nechemata Damiran be'amam V'yimeru Amen. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated at home. We're going to turn now to page 148, and we'll read together in English at the very bottom of the page, the first blessing before the Shema. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai Tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai, Amari Baravim. Turn now to page 150, and we'll read together in English at the bottom of the page the second blessing before the Shema. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Yem chaynu ve'orech yameinu, u'em nege yomam v'layla, v'avatcha al tasir mimenu li'olamim, baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha ve'shinatam levanecha ve'dibarta bam ve'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech U'shokbecha uvkumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, u'chtavtam hamezuzot beitecha, u'vihi she'arecha. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeiti etchem mi'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. Let's read together on the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands and marching together. Page 158. Yabai bai bim 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 bam, yabai bai bim bam. Ya bye bye bim 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 bam, ya bye bye bim bam, ay bye ba 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 ba, ya bye bye bim bam, ya bye ba 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 ba, ya bye bye bim bam. Mi kamocha bailim Adonai, ni kamocha nedar bakodesh, nor atehilot osefele. Nor atehilot osefele. Ya bye bye bim 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 bam, ya bye bye bim bam, ya bye bye bim 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 bam, ya bye bye bim bam, ya bye ba 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 ba, ya bye bye bim bam, ya bye ba 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 ba, ya bye bye bim bam. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokeam lifnei Moshe Miriam, ze li'anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. V'nemar, kifad Adonai et Yaakov, u'golo mi'ad chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai, gal Yisrael. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions. to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Ashkivenu, page 160. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim. Blessed are you, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Yerushalayim. Page 162, the top of the page. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם, עיני ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, Vayom Hashvi Shabbat, Shabbat Vayinafash. We rise, if we're able, at home as we begin the Amidah together on page 164 and then continue silently. Please go at your own pace, and when you're finished, you may be seated. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. yaseh shalom mimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We turn now to page 371 to offer our Misha Berach, our prayer for healing, and of course, as always, we are adding to the names of those that we are thinking of that are directly connected to our community, that we hold the entire world in our hearts and our minds as we offer this prayer. And as I've attempted to do over the last few weeks, to also say, well, this is a prayer for healing, that we also think of those who are the healers, and not just the doctors and nurses, but everybody who supports the work, the holy work that they are doing to help bring healing to those who are suffering. Mishaberach Avotinu ve'imotinu Avraham Yitzchak ve'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah U'ivarech et Ocholim ha'elim. And we think of those in our community and connected to our community in need of healing. Christopher Houlihan, Nancy DeMatte, Andrew Lesser, Linda Shapiro, Joanne Sanborn, Jean Ben Sadun, Gloria Taradash, Andrea Klausner, Judy Stern, Miriam Cornfield, Roz Brody, Chana Ruth Bat Sarah, Marlise Silverberg, Louis Davidson, Susan Spruce, Fagel Tzipora Bat Elisheva Bat Sarah, Richard Gambino, Michelle Sawicki, Idel Basha Bat Yitzchak, Tzvi Menachem Ben Chaim, Rivka Bat Devora, Amy and Gavin Tucker, Janice Kurz, David Dowling, Neil Elliott and Eileen Rosen, Israel Ben Yitzchak, Ben Sion Ben Moshe, Lorraine Danis, Buddy Kasov, Shelley Newmark, David Kyle Klotman, Rivka Bat Rachel, Sarah Bat Chana, Moshe Eliezer Ben Sivya, Peretz Ben Yehuda, and Leah Bat Naomi. And if you're thinking of anyone at home who I did not mention, now would be the opportunity for you to mention those names aloud. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yimalei rachamim aleihem lehachalimam u'lerapotam lechazikam ve'yishlach lehem mehira refuah. Refuah shlema min hashamayim, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf. Hashta ba'agalav zman kariv v'nomar. Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are suffering. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say together, Amen. Mi shebeirach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. So I want to share a teaching that originally comes from the Daf Yomi, the practice of studying a page of Talmud every single day until a cycle of the entire Talmud is completed. Those of you that were with us, feels like a lifetime ago, but several months ago, when there was the completion of the cycle of 7 years of reading. And I tried to make a push to convince people to try in one form or the other to deal with this or to do this really interesting experience of studying a piece of Talmudic text every single day. And I know that wasn't realistic for most of us. It wasn't even entirely realistic for me, especially in the last few months. I wish that I had the time to study a page of Talmud every day. But one of the things about Daf Yomi that is great is that even if you fall off the cycle, you can get back on. You can catch up, and even if you can't catch up, you still can find a way to learn and to learn some really great things. And the beauty of this time and this period in our history is that we not only have the Daf Yomi itself, but we have any number of ways to engage with it, so that even someone who doesn't have a background in Talmud, you can find English translations, you can find commentaries, you can find all manner of things. So one of the first things that I did to sign up was I went to My Jewish Learning, which is an excellent Jewish website that teaches about a lot of different things. And so they created a daily email that you can get in your email as well, very easy to sign up for, in which different people, scholars, rabbis, take the responsibility of trying to encapsulate some teaching, right? Every page of Talmud contains hundreds of teachings. But to find one piece of commentary, one place in which they can draw attention to a text that they, as the commentator, felt was important for us to learn. So the one for today, which we would be reading now, Masechet Shabbat. Again, Masechtot are the sort of tractates, the sections of the Talmud, 6 big categories of the Talmud, and then within that, a total of 63 tractates. And as you can imagine, the one that is dealing with Shabbat primarily deals with any matter, a lot of matters related to the observance of Shabbat, and in particular, some of the prohibitive aspects of Shabbat and what to do when one intentionally, or in some cases unintentionally, violates those prohibitions. So I want to share a teaching that I got from this email today from Sarah Zager, who is a PhD candidate in philosophy and religious studies at Yale, and is also a fellow at the Shalom Hartman Institute of North America. So first I want to just share the basis upon which her commentary is drawn, which is some of the text from the page itself. And this particular page, remembering that Talmud pages are folio pages, so there's an A page and a B page. In this case, this is 70A, but the conversation is picking up from a Mishnah, a section of the Mishnah from 200C, give or take, that deals with very specific issues relating to Shabbat, and in particular, what happens when somebody violates Shabbat, and very specifically, when one performs labor on Shabbat, which is prohibited according to rabbinic law and according to Torah law. So labor, not to get too complicated, in this case really means anything that really resembles our work, right? Something that is work as opposed to rest. So ultimately speaking, when one violates Shabbat in this way, there is a recompense for that. There is a process by which a person can undo or at least make appropriate reparations for the violation. So it's not like if you violate Shabbat that you're, Marie Antoinette, but more so that there is some concept usually based around the idea of offering a sacrifice as a way of making up, in the Hebrew word we would use as a tikkun, a repairing of the damage caused. And so there is a whole litany of description about what kinds of things and how to do it and under what circumstances. But it's the circumstances actually that make the very interesting conversation of this morning's daf. So let me first just read a section of the Mishnah that precedes the page that I will reference to give us a sense of what we're dealing with. So the Mishnah says, one who knows about the concept of Shabbat, but forgets which day is Shabbat, and performs many kinds of labor on many different Shabbatot, is obligated to bring a sacrifice for each Shabbat that they violate. Okay, so again, this is for somebody who understands the basic sort of overarching concept that Shabbat is supposed to be a day of rest, and that you're not supposed to do labor, but because of any number of circumstances forgets which day of the week is actually Shabbat, which I think all of us can understand is not so far-fetched. They are meant then to bring a sacrifice that connects to each of the Shabbatot that they violated. Right? So if they violated 5 Shabbatot, they would bring 5 sacrifices to make up for that violation. Now it continues. When one who knows that it is Shabbos, who knows that the day itself is happening, but performs many different kinds of prohibited labor that they didn't know were prohibited, on many different Shabbatot, in other words, they're a repeat offender, they are obligated to bring a sin offering for each kind of forbidden labor. So, for example, if this person who knows about the idea of Shabbat, who gets, again, that they're not supposed to do labors on Shabbat, but doesn't necessarily think of a certain thing as a laborious process and does it, and doesn't realize until somebody tells them that they are violating Shabbat, in their case, they're not just supposed to bring a sin offering, a reparation, for each of the Shabbatot that they violated. They are meant to bring one for each instance of violation by each individual labor. So if, for example, a person cut a piece of wood, pulled off kindling, lit a match, created a fire, each of those steps would then need its own sin offering, as opposed to the previous, in which case you're just doing one offering per each Shabbat that was violated. So of course the Gemara, right, the rabbis of the later generations that are included in the Talmud, then raise an obvious issue. Why are there two different punishments? Doesn't make any sense. Each person violated the prohibition to work on Shabbat. Why does one only have to bring one offering for each Shabbat violated, and the other one has to bring one for each offense on each Shabbat? It's a fair question. So one of the great rabbis of the Talmud of the Gemara, Rav Nachman, explains, so why then, right, it goes to a bigger question. Why did the merciful one, in other words, God specifically in the Torah, obligate someone to bring a sacrifice when they make a mistake? In this particular case of Shabbat. Because this sacrifice is a recompense for an act of forgetting. In the former case, the first case, the person only forgot one thing, that it was Shabbat, right? They forgot what day of the week it was. While in the second case, the person forgot many things. Therefore, each action was a form of prohibited labor, and each action was an act of forgetting that therefore needed its own sacrifice. So now I want to bring in Sarah's teaching, which I think is the crux of all this. So she writes as follows. From the outside, the two cases the rabbis describe here look identical. In each one, a person performs several different kinds of prohibited labor several times. But internally, two very different processes are taking place. In the first case, a person generally has a solid understanding of Shabbat practices, but forgets what day it is. Perhaps this person has other reasons to have trouble keeping track of the passage of time, so much so that the days blend together and they forget that it is Shabbat. In the second case, the person loses track of the specific actions that are prohibited on this special day. They understand that Shabbat is different, but they find it difficult to fully conceptualize how that difference plays out on the ground as they go about the basic tasks of their life. The rabbis recognize that, she says. Behind these identical fact patterns are two very different sets of spiritual challenges, and that only someone who has full access to them can understand how things can be set right. She continues, often when we see someone else act in a way that we perceive to be wrong, we may, whether just to ourselves or in some cases directly to the person in question, prescribe some kind of quote-unquote sin offering in order to rebalance the scales. But to do this from the outside is to make a decision without the most important information. What forces are leading that person to act in the way that they do? She concludes, what kinds of things have they forgotten or failed to understand, and why? What would it take to get things back into balance? Today's daf gives us some resources for thinking through how different lapses in judgment and action might be produced so that we can be better partners in helping those around us to transform their behavior for the better. I think that's an unbelievably wonderful extraction from this Talmudic text. And it shows again the complexity certainly of Talmud study and the means by which we can take these conversations that may be about something very, very specific and draw larger ideas from them. And ultimately what she's talking about is particularly germane at a time like this. And by that I mean, as we are sort of looking around at the landscape, I happened to watch the news yesterday and see what's going on in particular in Wisconsin, where I went to college, and to see that through a striking down of law by the Supreme Court in the state of Wisconsin, suddenly the stay-at-home orders were lifted, and almost instantaneously people were out at bars drinking, having a good time in very close proximity to each other, certainly not with any masks on or any protective gear. And so, of course, my immediate response was, as you can imagine, frustration, to put it very lightly. I'll leave the expletives out of it. But I couldn't conceive of it. All I wanted to do was to scream across the wire and to basically berate these people who I don't know and know nothing about their motivations whatsoever, and to try to, in essence, even though of course this is all in my mind, but to shame them into changing their behavior, to ask them what it is that compels them to do what it is that they're doing. But of course the danger of that and the quite frankly, the less successful outcome that is often drawn from this kind of thinking is that when we go right to this is what you need to do to make it right, we skip over a very important step, according to Sarah. What she's telling us is that we have to take a step before that. It's not to say that we don't have a responsibility to correct behavior. In Judaism, we most definitely do. And it's not to say that who are we to do that correcting. Judaism again says we have a responsibility to correct behavior when we know it is potentially destructive. But the problem is if we jump from point A to point C by skipping point B namely being the essential question that she is asking here, right? What forces are leading that person to act in the way that they do? And if we don't ask that question, and if we don't inquire of that question, and if we don't take it seriously, even if we disagree with it, if we don't take it seriously and we don't realize that most people do not behave out of malice, they may behave out of a lack of information, or out of fear, or out of a desire to be quote-unquote liberated or free, any number of possible reasons as to why, and any number of subconscious reasons that may be driving those reasons. But if we don't at least make an attempt to understand them, then how can we even begin to think that our correction of behavior, our calling out of the behavior, is ever going to be successful? Now, I don't want to be naive and to say if we only just understood each other better, all of the world's problems would be better off. I know it's not that simple. None of us think it's that simple. Sarah certainly doesn't. The Talmud certainly doesn't. But ultimately speaking, she is still pointing us towards a very important lesson in this Talmudic passage, which is to say that the rabbis are not only concerned with laws and violations and the making up when those things are violated. What they're talking about here is also about the mindset of the person, trying to understand what it is that is off track and how best to get things back on track. How best to help these potential violators to understand both the timing of Shabbat and its strictures, and its purposes, and its intentions. And if we only attempt to teach in an angry way, in an upset way, in a, for lack of a better term, a holier-than-thou kind of way, it's not to say that that isn't successful, and sometimes it certainly can be. But I think empirically, it has been proven time and time again, both in personal experience and I think even in, quite frankly, psychological study, that negative enforcement or negative reinforcement is not an effective strategy. Not certainly an effective strategy on the scale of which we need right now. So I hope that all of us can take a little bit of a lesson from this morning's daf and from ultimately Sarah's teaching, and to help us as best as we can in our own lives, not just in a state of pandemic, but in a state of our own relationships at home and with friends and with family. When people do something, when they violate some aspect of our life in a way that upsets us, before we get onto our high horse, before we start wagging our finger, let's at least make an attempt at understanding why the person did what it is that they did. And perhaps help them to understand in ways that they may not on their own be able to, why it is that they did what they did. And then I believe that there is at least the possibility that out of that conversation, out of that inquiry, out of that thought of this might be a human being who needs a little bit of help to unearth what it is that is really going on, I think our chances of success will increase manifold. And while my initial response was, again, frustration and anger, I have really spent much of the last day since I saw that news report trying to get in the mindset of people who would do what ultimately is taking place in Wisconsin right now, and I know it's taking place in other parts of the country as well. And my hope is that through understanding that we can actually make some progress in getting everybody to really buy into this idea that we are responsible to each other, that right now especially we need to be thinking not just of ourselves, not just of ideas or concepts of liberty, of freedom, however we define them, but of also understanding our responsibility to behave in a way that limits the loss of life, the destruction of life, which I think all of us, I hope, believe, is really stressed and is really pushed to the limit when we don't follow directions, when we don't follow orders, and we don't consider the needs of others. So with that, I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. And again, a plug, if you go to My Jewish Learning, you go to their website, if you type in Daf Yomi, there's usually a button there somewhere that says, send me emails, and every day you'll get an email with something that really is quite remarkable. So I hope that in addition to my drash, that I've given you all another avenue into some important Jewish connections. So with that, I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. And I'll ask if you are able at home to please rise as we count the Omer, mark the counting of days between the second day of Pesach and the holiday of Shavuot that is upcoming, as we turn to page 570. And again, if you are able at home, please rise. If you'll join with me at the very top of the page. Hineni muchan umezuman lekayem mitzvat aseh shel svirat haomer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat haomer. Hayom shiva ushloshim yom shehem chamisha shavuot u'shnei yamim la'omer. Today marks 37 days, which is 5 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. We remain standing as we turn to page 586 at the bottom of the page, Aleinu l'shabeach.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, atet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, velo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad. For those in mourning and those observing yahrzeit, I'll ask you to please remain standing at home if you are able. We first remember those who have passed in our community in recent months. Florence Bass, Nancy Fisher, Saul Fisher, Lee Friedman, Sandra Friedman, Maya Osofsky, Vera Shaps, Lisa Schneidman, and Norma Small. We also mark the yahrzeits that occurred during the last week for Melvin James Danis, Susan Davis, Henry Denker, Moreno Harav, Rabbi Arthur Gilbert, Charles Goldman, Irene Goldman, Walter Gruenstein, Hyman Heller, Elias Kaplan, Harold Clapper, Heather Kotler, Ruth Krennick, Bernard Dove Kriegsman, Harry Oliphant, Sophie Pearl, Henry Posner, Irving Rubin, Jesse Siegel, and Laura Weiss. And if you're thinking of anyone this evening and you're remembering anyone this evening and you'd like to mention their names, now would be the time. Now join together on page 598 to offer the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayichon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'li'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, de'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shalom Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. V'oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may every one of their memories be for a blessing. Okay. Please be seated at home. Shabbat shalom, everyone. So just a few, but a growing list of announcements to share with you. The first, of course, is to join us for Shabbat services tomorrow morning online at 10 o'clock. And of course, you can join us after services are over at 12 o'clock for our Torah study on Zoom. Hopefully you have all the information of how to access all of those things, and if not, please do let me know. Also, just a reminder, and hopefully you got the information this week, that on Sunday at 10 o'clock, the members of our community can join us for a Zoom town hall meeting that include a lot of different kinds of updates of what's been going on, what we are planning, the summer, the high holidays, the building, a lot of important stuff, and certainly we would appreciate you being able to join. The Zoom link was sent out to all members this past Thursday by email, but if you didn't get it for any reason, please email me directly, and I will be happy to share it with you. To also note that on Sunday at 4 o'clock, they were very gracious to move their normal meeting, which is earlier in the day. The Social Justice Committee will have another Zoom meeting to update and to continue their remarkable work to help our community, to help the organization as Ola, and we are really doing amazing things. In a matter of weeks, we are now, I believe, helping 8 families and increasing, it seems, the number of volunteers by the day. So again, a big thank you to Andy and Alyssa and everybody who has helped out, big or small. It really is a remarkable thing that all of us are doing together. We really appreciate your leadership and your care and your love. Also, just to note that this coming Thursday, we had hoped to be able to do this, obviously, in person. We had scheduled this several months ago. But last year around this time, our beloved member, longtime member, Barbara Friedman, passed away. And when Barbara passed, there wasn't really an opportunity to have a memorial out here as we had hoped. So we thought to have it around her yahrzeit. And obviously, as I said, we had hoped to have it in person, and we will have to transition this to Zoom, to being online. But for anyone who was a friend of Barbara's or anybody who knew her but maybe didn't know as much but would like to pay their respects, we are putting together a memorial service for her this Thursday at 7 o'clock. That's May 21st. And the link for pre-registration went out in last week's e-blast, and we'll send out the link to join this week. And if you have any questions or interest in being involved, please do let me know. She is very much missed to this day. Also, just to note that next Shabbat evening, we will welcome Cantor Emily back into our Zoom service. And as part of that service, we are also going to make a special occasion to celebrate the healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, support staff, janitorial staff, administrators in our area that are working so hard, and around the world who are working so hard. And we're very honored that some of our community who happen to fill some of these roles are going to help participate in our service that evening. And so if you're able to join us again, either on Zoom or watching it streamed onto YouTube, we would love to see you, and we'd love to appreciate all of these wonderful people who are doing so much. Also, you'll find information about this in the e-blast, but just so that you know, this week, through the help of a number of people, we made a donation of 50 meals to a segment of the hospital staff to provide a lunch for them. Hospital is doing a wonderful job of helping people who want to show our appreciation, and they're doing it sort of by department. So one of our members, Sherry Rosenblatt, went over to pick up meals that were prepared at Almond Restaurant, which is with another member of our community, of Jason and Almond Wiener and their daughter Reeve. And through that, we were able to really make, I think, a very significant positive impact on a group of people who are working desperately hard every single day for our benefit. So even though it's a small, very small thing to provide a meal, it's a way of also showing that our community is appreciative and that we're thinking of them. And so I want everyone to know that all of that was done with all of you in mind in behalf of really our entire community. I also want to note that the book group, the summer book group, our wonderful book group that is facilitated by Ruth Joseph, will be resuming as of Sunday, May 24th at 11 a.m. So if you are interested in joining the book group and want instructions about how to do that, please contact Ruth directly. Her email is ruthejoseph, all one word, @yahoo.com. And finally, to note that, as I mentioned before, as we count the Omer, that the holiday of Shavuot is upcoming. And as tradition, the night before Shavuot, Erev Shavuot, we're meant to stay up through the night and study Torah in some form or the other. We have done this for many years here at the temple, preceding my time. We never quite stay up all night, but we use it as an opportunity to study text together and to have a really wonderful learning experience. And this year I'm really very happy to be able to partner with my friend and colleague, Rabbi Josh Franklin, and his community of the Jewish Center of the Hamptons, as we share the experience of co-teaching the Tikkun that evening on Zoom. And this will be the first time actually that he and I think any official capacity, will really have a chance to teach. And we're each going to have a chance to teach ourselves and then to do one in which we're teaching together. Again, it'll begin at 7:30 on May 28th. And there is a pre-registration process that's necessary. You should have gotten the information. If you didn't, please let me know. And then we'll share the eventual Zoom link with everybody who is pre-registered. Again, that's Thursday, May 28th at 7:30. And should be over by 9:30 at the latest. And both Josh and I, Rabbi Josh and I, will be responding to a prompt, what does Torah mean to us? Which is a wonderfully large idea and question, and one that I think I've actually gotten a great enjoyment out of just trying to think how I will answer that question in roughly 45 minutes. And just a reminder, of course, that Shavuot morning services will be streamed online here from the sanctuary on Friday, May 29th, and that service includes Yizkor. And last announcement is to, of course, welcome all of you to our online Zoom Oneg after services are done. Just give me a couple minutes before, and we will get that started. And it's been lovely to be able to see everybody. And of course, lastly, for anyone who was on last night for Keelan's concert, which was lovely again, we appreciate you being there. So as we turn to page, I believe, one second, it is 123. I'm just going to pour some wine. This is a good chance for you to get some grape juice or wine at home. And if able to rise, as again we turn to page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav banu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'b'ratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu hayom techila lemikra'ei kodesh Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki v'hanu acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava u'b'ratzon inchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. Chaim, Shabbat Shalom. I hope it will be a Shabbat of rest and peace and, most importantly, health for each and every one of you and your loved ones. I hope to see you online in a few minutes or watching tomorrow. And again, just take care of yourselves, be safe. Stay at home as much as you possibly can, and be thoughtful and considering of others. Shabbat Shalom.